Hey there, it's Brandon Burns, your Head of Community at Runway. We're back on the red couch, and with me is a very special guest, Sam Floriani. How are you?
Good mate, how are you?
I'm very well. Now, Sam and I have actually been going to the same gym together for about 3 months, and I've just learnt, and all the better for it, that he's actually an award-winning chiropractor here in Geelong, and has had that business for how long now?
It's been 3 years now.
Wow, well, it feels like you've been going a lot longer, because what you seem to have achieved in 3 years is huge.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we're going to get to that, but first what I thought I'd do is introduce Sam and get him just to tell everyone exactly, what it is you do, and as a chiropractor, what makes what you do different, what sets you apart?
Yeah, sure. I suppose the biggest thing is that as a chiropractor, everyone always asks the question, what's the difference between chiros, physios, osteos, and that's a common question. I was lucky enough to spend the last 6 years living over in Europe, and in that time really, I suppose, learn about the original version of chiropractic, and our whole philosophy is the holistic approach. We believe the body's pretty clever, the body can heal itself. If you get out of the body's way, you can kind of do some pretty profound things, and that's our number one message, basically. So, we try and just kind of make sure we educate people first about that, and the second step would be to then obviously put a hands-on approach, but the first step is to make sure we educate them first.
Yeah, great. And look, I've learnt that Sam's very entrepreneurial, obviously because he's got his own practice. You've got a team of staff behind you now as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then more importantly, you've put together an annual event now that's quickly become the number one sort of staple in chiropractor conference and events in Australia. Tell me about this.
Yeah, well, I was kind of, when we were living in Europe, I didn't feel comfortable with the community here in Australia. So we decided to make a change, and we tried to bring some of the European style back to Australia, and we started doing that whilst living in Italy. And then it's called the Innate Summit, a program that we ran to kind of help teach Australian chiros more about this kind of more holistic approach, and quickly grew from being 60 people to 100 people to now we had nearly 400 clients there last year. In 5 years, went from 0 to 400 people, the biggest seminar in Australasia, and it's pretty cool.
So that's awesome growth, and that demonstrates that you quickly put yourself in a position where it appears you're like an authority in your industry. Tell me, you mentioned you weren't happy with the community that existed here for chiropractors. So what was that distinct problem that you were solving that this event has really helped you address? Is it better collaboration? Is it better communication? Is it working together to have a better reputation overall?
I think it was probably a bit of a combination of all those, but the number one thing is more certainty in a message. I think that there's been so much dilution between what chiros do, and the more certain we had, the more certain me and my wife were about exactly what we did want to become and what not want to become. We knew that we didn't want to be on that side of the fence. It was going to be the kind of in amongst the mix of chiros, physios, osteos. If we said, look, we aren't going to have those things, we just want to pretty much do one thing really well, which was teaching people about how clever their bodies were, hands-on adjustment to allow the brain and the body to communicate better, and teach people that message, and just kind of stick strong with that real certain message. It's just kind of pretty much growing in leaps and bounds, and the practice here is going really well, and now we're having chiros from all over Australia and students from different universities come and observe us, and it's been a really cool journey.
So tell me, you obviously took the plunge and started your own business. For those watching and listening in our audience that are looking to do a similar thing, but they're probably at that stage where they haven't taken the leap yet, what's one piece of advice you could give them that'll help them feel a little bit more confident that they can take that leap and that they should?
If you wanted to quote someone like the Stephen Covey, he's passed away now, but I remember one of his books saying, begin with the end in mind, and having the idea of what it could be like, and think about what would be the magical idea of this maybe unicorn in your head right now, of what it could be like if you took the plunge, and then reverse engineer that and think, what would be the absolute bottom line shittest thing, can I say that?
You can, mate, that's fine.
The crappiest thing that would happen if you took a leap. And often you might find, okay, if worst comes to us, I might lose 10 grand, I might lose 5 grand, I might lose 20 grand, and I'm back on mum and dad's couch. Okay, you're back on mum and dad's couch for 2 or 3 months, and then you build from there. But most people think, okay, but what if I could get there? I'm a bit scared. Couldn't get there. Just take the first couple of steps. If worst comes to worst, okay, you lose 10 grand. It's pretty much a Toyota Gemini. What is it, Toyota Gemini? Toyota Gemini.
We try to ask everyone, that's great, we try to ask everyone on the couch, what's their big startup idea? And obviously I'm sure someone like you's had plenty born out of things that occur in your daily routine at the chiropractor practice. But is there a particular idea for a startup that you've had that perhaps you'd like to pursue, or you'd love to see someone else?
Jeepers creepers. In my industry or in any industry?
It can be anything, because some people have this idea that's completely separate to their business that's been sitting dormant and they just don't know what to do with it. Others have just come up with something because of a problem they face in their day-to-day life.
Tell you what, I don't know, because usually I'm pretty involved with my profession, and every idea that I have had has just kind of my old man actually used to kind of grab hold of me every day before going to school and pretty much say, Sam, and go to the back of my bum, back of my seat, and hold the handlebars and push me off and say, Sam, take a risk. That was my dad's advice to me, and it's beautiful advice that I cherish. And so you see my face here, I've nearly had 160 things of stitches, and I've tried that many jumps and crashed out pretty hard when I was a younger kid, and so I wasn't afraid of taking a risk. So when it comes to trying to find something that I would do, I don't know. I've definitely lost a lot of I suppose money, but also gained a lot of money in some of my risks that I've taken, and I've learned heaps of cool experiences. I'm divulging off the topic here a little bit because I've got no idea what to say.
That's all right. I mean, it's more so about we have people who'll be listening and watching, and they might be in a similar industry to you, and they might be really listening to try and hear what is it that could be innovated further in your industry, or maybe even that health industry broadly, that could improve the experience of people who interact with you.
Okay, now you bring it back to my industry. I've got the answer.
Yeah.
It would be so good if we could have someone in our industry to make a way for the client experience to be streamlined. There are so many apps out there, and ourselves included, there are so many apps that are, the forms apps and the sign-in apps, and then how to get the CRMs happening, and there's so much of that stuff, and I can't even spell CRM, let alone know what it means. But that was a joke, by the way. If we could have someone that could help the health industry get all those forms, all that online application stuff into one seamless thing where you can walk in the door and make our client experience perfect, and make sure that our front desk married up with our ticketing and that whole thing doesn't exist. And you might think it does exist, but trust me, it doesn't exist. And so if there was someone in that space, I'll tell you what, I'll be your first customer for sure.
Okay, so there's a real world problem we've identified, and someone who's willing to be a first customer. Anyone watching, if you're inspired to solve that issue, I think we've pretty much validated that it exists and that there's an appetite for it. So,
for sure.
Well, Sam Floriani from the Innate Life, how can people best find you and get in contact?
You just pretty much put in Cairo Geelong West on one of the ones that come up. The Innate Life, IN number 8. It means inborn, or that innate connection is that belief in your inner self. So you can look at the Innate Summit, the Innate Life, the Innate Shift. That's pretty much me.
Awesome, Sam. Thanks for your time. We'll see you guys soon.